The first thing I felt was his hand slipping away from mine. Not gently, not lovingly, but like someone letting go of a burden they were tired of holding. That's how I knew something was wrong. We were crossing the lobby of the Regent Hotel, the marble floors shining like they had been scrubbed by angels. People milled about, young couples laughing, businessmen brushing past, perfume and cologne mixing in the air like 100 small lies trying to cover each other. It should have been a pleasant evening. My 72-year-old heart still fluttered every time I stepped out with my husband, my 49-year-old husband Ethan. But when his fingers pulled away from mine, cold rushed into the space he left behind. "Ethan," I whispered. He didn't answer. His head jerked toward the hallway leading to the elevators, his shoulders tightening as if he expected someone to leap out and catch him doing something he shouldn't. And that was when I saw her. A woman. Young. Beautiful in that effortless, cruel way youth can be. She lingered by the far wall, her hair a waterfall of black curls, her expression sharp and alert. She wasn't looking around like a guest. She wasn't waiting for someone. She was watching him. Watching us. The moment their eyes met, just for a flicker my stomach dropped. I knew that look. Recognition. Familiarity. Guilt. It hit me with the force of a lifetime of abandoned illusions. But I pushed it down the way I've pushed down so many things since marrying a man 23 years younger than me. The whispers. The snickers. The comments disguised as jokes. Desperate. Wasting her money. He'll leave once she becomes inconvenient. My own granddaughter once said, "Grandma's acting like she's in a movie." My daughter laughed. My son shook his head pityingly. My sister avoided conversations about him altogether. But Ethan, he had been warm. Charming. Attentive. He looked at me like I wasn't old. Like I wasn't fading. Like I wasn't living the last quarter of my life. He made me feel alive. Until that moment. "Who is she?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. He forced a smile. "No idea. Come on, let's get our table." But I caught it. The slight tremble in his hand, the way he avoided my gaze, the stiffness in his jaw. I didn't argue. I followed him into the restaurant, the woman's eyes burning into my back, her presence clinging to me like a shadow I couldn't shake off. During dinner I tried to swallow my unease, but everything tasted off. Too salty, too cold, too sharp. I watched Ethan closely. He kept checking his phone under the table. He flinched when a waiter dropped a fork behind him. He avoided any topic that drifted too close to emotions, family, or plans. And worst of all, he didn't reach for my hand again. "Are you all right?" I asked quietly. He nodded too quickly. "Just tired. Long day." But Ethan never lied quickly. He lied carefully, slowly, choosing his words like a man picking flowers for a grave. Something was unfolding. Something ugly. And I knew deep in my bones, it had already begun long before tonight. The next morning, I woke up to the scent of coffee and the sound of Ethan on the phone downstairs. I moved slower than I once did. Bones ache differently with age. But my mind had never been sharper. I paused halfway down the staircase. "No, not today," Ethan was saying in a hushed voice. "She's here. Yes, she suspects something. I can't risk it." "Suspects what?" A shiver crawled up my spine. "I told you," he continued, frustrated. "I need a little more time. She can't know yet. If this goes wrong, we both." A floorboard creaked under my foot. Ethan froze. "Later," he whispered urgently, then hung up. When he looked up and saw me on the stairs, his face rearranged itself into a practiced expression. Gentle concern, forced softness. "Morning, darling." I didn't smile back. He walked toward me, lifting the coffee mug. "I made your favorite. Hazelnut with a..." "Who were you talking to?" I asked. He blinked. "Just Mark from the contracting team." That was a lie. Mark was loud, brash, and had the subtlety of a marching band. Ethan didn't lower his voice for him. "Ethan," I said, my voice stronger than I felt, "I'm not stupid." Something flickered in his eyes, fear or annoyance I couldn't tell. He stepped closer and kissed my forehead. His lips were warm, but he felt distant, like he was already slipping beyond reach. "Can we not do this right now?" he whispered. "Please." "I'm trying." "Trying what?" He swallowed hard. "Trying to make our life work. Trying to balance everything. Trying to keep you happy." It sounded rehearsed, hollow, and it hurt. Not because of the words, but because of how easily he said them, as though speaking to a child who wouldn't understand the truth. I stepped back. His shoulders sagged. "Let's just get through the day," he said quietly. "We're meeting your family later, remember?" Yes, a family who loved to laugh behind my back, who called him my boy toy, and me his retirement plan. A family that had already prepared their jokes for the evening. I didn't answer Ethan. I walked past him and into the kitchen. His phone buzzed on the counter. He lunged for it. Too fast. Too guilty. Another crack formed inside me. My family dinner went exactly as expected. Mocking smiles, raised eyebrows, whispers that weren't as quiet as they thought they were. My daughter leaned in. "Mom, you look tired. Everything okay?" I forced a smile. "Of course." She patted my hand like she was humoring a senile old woman. It must be exhausting keeping up with someone his age. I inhaled slowly. "I keep up just fine." Ethan stiffened beside me but said nothing. My son chimed in, smirking. "I'm still waiting for the day he realizes you're not an ATM." Laughter rippled around the table. "Stop," I said sharply. They didn't. Even Ethan didn't defend me. He just stared down at his plate. That broke something in me. Not loud, not dramatic, but quiet, like a hairline fracture in glass that spreads unnoticed until it becomes impossible to ignore. When we finally left the restaurant, I climbed into the back seat instead of next to Ethan. He noticed. He didn't say a word. The silence between us grew thick and suffocating. I watched the city blur outside the window, lights, buildings, people living vibrant lives that had nothing to do with mine. My chest ached with something old and familiar. The fear of being forgotten, replaced, discarded. When we reached home, Ethan opened the front door for me. I stepped inside, and that was the moment I heard it. The ding of his phone. The screen lit up. A message preview. From her. I saw 3 words. She bought it. My heart stopped. For a long moment, neither of us moved. Then Ethan lunged for the phone, nearly dropping it. "Give me that." His voice cracked between panic and anger. But something inside me, something old, wounded, and finally awakened, rose up. "No." He stared at me as though seeing the real version of me for the first time. A woman who wasn't fragile. A woman who wasn't blind. A woman who wasn't going to stand quietly while her life unraveled in front of her. "Explain," I said. Ethan inhaled sharply. "It's not what you think. That's what guilty people always say." He closed his eyes. "Please, don't do this. Then tell me the truth." He shook his head. "It's complicated." "No," I whispered, voice trembling. "It's betrayal." His face went pale. The clock ticked in the background, soft, rhythmic, relentless, marking the death of whatever trust one had left. He didn't speak. Not a word. And silence is an answer. A brutal one. For a long moment, Ethan and I just stood there. 2 silhouettes carved out by the pale hallway light. 2 lives that had suddenly split apart. The message on his phone still glowed in my mind. She bought it. Bought what? A lie? An illusion? Me? My throat tightened, but my voice stayed steady. "Who is she?" Ethan's lips trembled, but he didn't answer. "Who is she?" I repeated. He sank onto the edge of the sofa as if his bones had given up. His hands came up to cover his face. "Her name is Lila," he whispered finally. The name hit me like a cold slap. "The woman from the hotel lobby." He nodded. "Your lover." Silence. A silence that told me everything. Something inside my chest cracked. Not with shock, but with a slow, inevitable devastation. The kind that comes when the truth arrives late, long after the heart has already sensed it. I sat across from him. "Tell me the rest," I said. His voice was small. It didn't start the way it looks. I wasn't looking for anything. Lila worked on a project with me. We talked. One night she kissed me. I pushed her away. "But then, you went back," I finished for him. He didn't deny it. I felt a wave of heat rise behind my eyes. Not quite tears. Just grief burning hot enough to hurt. I leaned back. "How long?" Ethan swallowed. 7 months. A laugh escaped my lips, sharp, humorless, painful. 7 months. God. He flinched. Why? I whispered. He lifted his eyes. Because I was scared. Of what? Of being old before my time, he said, voice cracking. Of settling. Of disappearing. That stung more than the infidelity itself. You think I made you feel old? I asked softly. He shook his head fast. No. Not you. Me. I've always been terrified of becoming my father. He got comfortable, complacent, dead inside long before he died on the outside. When I met you. When you met me, I finished. I made you feel younger. Yes, he admitted. You made me feel alive. More than anyone ever had. I closed my eyes. And then you got used to it, I murmured. Used to me. And once the excitement faded, you wanted more again. He didn't answer. Because there are truths that don't need confirmation. I stood up, walked toward the fireplace and placed my hand on the mantel to steady myself. My reflection flickered in the glass. An older woman lined with age, strong but breaking. And then I said the words that had been brewing inside me since dinner. What were you planning to do to me? Ethan's head snapped up. Nothing. God, nothing. I turned. That message said. She bought it. What did I buy, Ethan? What did you tell her about me? He paled. I stepped closer. What were you both trying to take? He exhaled shakily. There was pressure. From everyone. From your family. From society. From her. From myself. She said we needed a plan. Something clean. A plan. My voice went cold. A plan for what? He put his head in his hands. For leaving. And making sure I had something to fall back on. My stomach twisted. You were going to divorce me. He didn't look up. After taking what? I asked. My money. No, he whispered. Not your money. Then what? Your house, he said. The car. The shares you put in my name. She said if you were emotionally unstable, no court would question it. She wanted me to push you. Make you doubt yourself. Leave on paper first, so she could appear supportive and clean. My mouth went dry. You planned to manipulate me into looking unstable. I didn't plan it, he cried. She did. She pushed and pushed. I kept saying no. But then your family kept mocking me. And she kept saying it was only a matter of time before everyone convinced you I was worthless. I felt cornered. And instead of talking to me, I said quietly, you let a stranger convince you to betray me. Tears streamed down his face. I never wanted to hurt you. Then why did you? He couldn't answer. He didn't need to. Weakness is its own kind of betrayal. I walked past him toward the study where the documents were kept. What are you doing? He asked, rising quickly. I opened the top drawer, my heart hammering, because there, neatly filed, were the papers. Power of attorney. Beneficiary forms. Transfer requests. Not filled. Not submitted. But prepared. Like someone had been planning a storm. I lifted the stack slowly. So you were going to take everything? No, Ethan said hoarsely. I swear I was going to destroy those. I didn't know how to break things off with her yet. I didn't know how to fix the mess I'd made. His voice shook with genuine fear. Please, he whispered. Please believe me. I turned around. He looked younger than ever. Not in the beautiful, charming way he once had. But small. Frightened. Like a child who had built a trap, and then realized too late that he'd built it around himself. The part that hurts, I said softly, is that you didn't trust me enough to tell me how lost you were. His shoulders crumpled. The betrayal was deep, but the tragedy was deeper. We had failed each other long before Lila came along. I didn't sleep that night. Ethan paced. Apologized. Begged. Broke down. Confessed everything. Every detail. Every message. Every moment he should have walked away but didn't. Not once did he defend her. Not once did he blame me. Around dawn he slumped into the armchair near the window. She threatened to expose everything, he said dully. If I left her. If I told you. She said she'd ruin my life. I stared at him. And you thought she wouldn't ruin mine? He closed his eyes. I stepped toward him. Ethan, I need you to tell me one thing. He lifted his head. If she threatened you. Did she ever threaten me? Barely audible, he whispered. Yes. My blood chilled. For the first time I felt something sharp and fierce rise inside me. Protectiveness. Anger. Something primal. She said if you turned on her, Ethan continued, voice cracking, she'd take care of the old woman. I didn't think she meant. God, I don't know what I thought. He broke down again. I placed my hand on the back of his chair, not comforting but steady. You should have told me, I said. I know, he whispered. I know. His eyes turned up to me, red, raw, desperate. What happens now? A long, slow breath filled my chest. First, I said, you're going to cut her off. Completely. In writing. He nodded. Second, you're going to hand me every message, every email, every document, everything she tried to make you do. He nodded again. And third, I said, my voice steady as steel, you and I are going to the lawyer tomorrow. He looked terrified. Are you leaving me? No, I answered honestly. I'm not leaving you. His eyes widened. But I'm not protecting you either. The next week was a storm. Lila unleashed everything she had. Threats, insults, manipulations. She followed him, harassed him, tried to contact me, tried to intimidate us both. But everything she sent us, we sent straight to the lawyer. And then to the authorities. Ethan cooperated fully. By the time they were done gathering evidence, Lila wasn't a temptress or a lover. She was a predator. A scammer. A woman who had targeted older women by seducing their younger partners and orchestrating exits that drained assets and left relationships in ruins. Ethan was her latest project. I was supposed to be her biggest payout. But we gave them a case bigger than anything they'd seen. Enough to press charges on multiple counts. And when the officer finally said, she can't come near either of you again, I felt something inside me loosen. Not forgiveness. Not healing. But clarity. 3 months later, after endless therapy sessions, legal meetings, and long nights of quiet conversations, Ethan came into the kitchen with an envelope. He placed it on the table. What's this? I asked. My new will, he said. I blinked. Your will? I updated everything, he said quietly. My life insurance too. The policy from before we met had you listed as a small beneficiary. But now, he slid the papers toward me. I froze. My name filled the page. Not for a small portion. For everything. All assets. All savings. All investments. Full authority. Full inheritance. I looked up slowly. Ethan. He met my eyes. No fear. No excuses. No boyish charm. Just truth. You're the only person who has ever loved me enough to fight for me, he said. And the only one I almost destroyed. I don't know if I can ever earn back what I broke, but I want to give you something real. My throat tightened. Why are you doing this? Because you deserve security, he whispered. And a damn apology that means something. I stared at the signature at the bottom of the document. His handwriting shook slightly. I'm not dying, he added with a soft, sad smile. But someday I will. And I want you to have what you protected. A tear slipped free. Not from heartbreak. From the weight of everything we had survived. You didn't inherit from me, he said gently. I'm the one who inherited from you. What? I whispered. Your courage, he said. Your strength. Your refusal to break even when I was falling apart. That's what I inherited. My chest ached. Not with pain this time. With something quieter. Warmer. Hope. He reached out slowly. This time letting me take his hand. And I did. Because betrayal destroys. But truth rebuilds. Piece by piece. Choice by choice. And for the first time in a very long time, I felt alive again.